Okay, so we've tested the API using Postman to verify that we can create quizzes, retrieve quizzes, and whatnot. Let's now use the API from within an Angular component. Right? So let's create a component, a brand new component, where we can list all these quizzes. Right? They're already stored in the database. We've exposed the URL. To retrieve them, so let's create a brand new component to retrieve them. So we're going to do ng generate a new component, and we'll call it, I think we're going to call it quiz list component or something like that. So let's do a quiz dash list, and that will generate a new component under the app directory, under quiz list directory. Okay. And let's declare in the Angular project. Let's declare a router so that we can navigate to this brand new component. Make sure that we're all hooked up. So let's go into routing, and let's create a new routing that allows us to navigate to quizzes, so that we can navigate to this new quiz list component. Excellent. And we'll also add to the HTML a link that will allow us to navigate to this brand new component. Right. So we'll say here quizzes. So this is our brand new route that we just created, so that we can navigate to the quizzes. All right. So I believe we had this running already in Angular. There it is. So there's our new quizzes. If we click on it, it navigates to this boilerplate component that just says quiz list works. So let's move in there and see how we can start generating the list of quizzes in here. Right. So let's go into that component. The component is the quiz list component. If we navigate there we go. And in the HTML, let's replace the content to say that we have here H2 quizzes. Now these are all the quizzes for all the students, right? All students can see this. So let's use this the API we looked at earlier to retrieve the list of quizzes, right? And we'd like to list them here, right? As a UL so this will be quiz 1, 2, 3 will be listed here. Okay. Right now this is hard-coded, but we'd like to be able to dynamically go fetch the quizzes and then render them over here. So let's do that. So just like we created a service on the server side that exposed the list of quizzes, we need a mirror image of that on the client side, right? So let's create a service for this, a client service under the services directory. On the client side. So let's create a new TypeScript, and we'll call it quiz.service.client, right? As opposed to on the server side, we call this quiz.service.server.js, right? So this is the mirror image of this on the client side, connecting to that server side. So anyway, so we'll implement this as an injectable service, right? And so this will be, we'll export this brand new class called quiz service client, and we'll make this injectable. So injectable, and this will expose all the functions that we need on the client side, right? So here we will have create quiz will be here, right? That takes as argument quiz. We'll have find all quizzes will be here, right? We'll have find quiz by ID with the quiz ID here. So this is the mirror image of what we have on the server. This is what the components, the JavaScript running on the browsers will use to talk to the server, right? Running on Node.js. All right, so what else do we have here? We have update quiz, right? That takes argument quiz ID and a brand new quiz, right? we'll have here delete quiz. We'll probably not use or implement most of these, but just I'll leave them as TBD, TBD, right? And delete quiz, quiz ID. Right? Let's focus on just implementing this one right here, right? Find all quizzes. Okay. So find all quizzes is going to use basically what the same URL we used earlier, right, as a get to the API/quiz to retrieve all the quizzes, right? So let's implement that. So to do that, we're going to use our trustworthy fetch function that is going to go to our http://localhost 3000/API/quiz, right? So that's where it's exposed. Quiz. Now, since this is going to return immediately, right? We could do a return here. We do a return, or we can just make this equal and use the new syntax like that, right? And then without a return, we don't need a return now. And we need to parse this. Why is this complaining? Oh, I have an extra. So we say then we're going to parse out the JSON from the response, right, and return the response.json like that. What doesn't it like? Oh, it doesn't like double quotes. I should fix my lint. All right, there we go. So we have find all quizzes, the service, which can then be used from the component to retrieve all those quizzes. Right. So if we go back to the to app module, we can declare that new service as a provider, so we can then use it across all our components. Right. So we declare that new quiz service. There it is. We'll declare that so that from within our component, we can inject it. Right? We can inject it as a service, the new quiz service, so that in our ng on init, we can go and fetch the quizzes and populate a local variable. So we can say this.service find all quizzes, and then all the quizzes we can populate the local variable quizzes with the quizzes that are coming from the server. Yes? Once we have them, we can just iterate over them in our template. Right? We can create here a list group and then iterate over it. Iterate over these. So iterate over the quizzes of quizzes, right? And render just the title for that quiz. And the title might be quiz.title. Okay? All right, so let's try it out. Notice that indeed, we were able to retrieve those two quizzes, right, from the server, parse them from the JSON body, and then pass them over to the component template to render. Right? All right, so once we have it here on the client, we can start taking a look at being able to navigate and fetch more data about this particular quiz, and perhaps all the questions for the quiz, be able to take the particular quiz. So let's take a look at how would we navigate, right, to go into the details of a particular quiz. Right, that's something we haven't covered, where we might want to navigate to a URL that can take as argument, some path parameter, and then load something based on that parameter. All right, so let's take a look at that. That's something new.